Teams out onto court. A very warm welcome. All the teams from China and Japan.
Second match is women's doubles final between Tian Qing and Zhao Yunlei of China versus Mattsutomo and Takahashi of Japan.
Well, by quarter-final stage in the women's doubles, there was only 5 of the 8 seeds remaining. And when you look at that, 2 Chinese pairs, 2 Korean. Didn't quite get that. Who chose ends there?
Third.
Completely.
Zhao. Service. Who will receive?
Now, here's an interesting thing. The rules of the BWF state that in all Super Series events, the players on opposing sides must wear distinctly different coloured clothing. Now, I know that one kit is orange and one is a sort of a pinky colour, but is that distinctly different? I don't know. Make your own judgment on that. There is Ayaka Takahashi, 24-year-old, her partner, 2 years younger. And 2 weeks ago, in the final of the Japan Open, first of this series of 3 Super Series events that we've had back-to-back, they won their maiden title, having appeared in their 5th Super Series final. So, of course, today is their 6th Super Series final, and they make it 2 titles in 2 weeks. World ranking of 3, as we saw a little earlier. They're number 1 on the Destination Dubai ranking list. And they got a bye in the first round because of their seeded position. Semi-final yesterday against the twin sisters Liu Ying and Liu Yu of China. 2 straight games. I thought that was very impressive indeed. So to the Olympic champions, and Tian Qing, who we're looking at the moment, and her partner Zhao Yunlei won the gold medal in London 2012. And they have been experimenting with the partnerships. They're both 27 years of age. The world ranking up 2 places to number 8 this week. They're the number 5 seeds here. And they, like their opponents, have only had to play 3 matches because they got a walkover in the first round against that Malaysian pair. But look how they have battled in the in yesterday's semi-final. The first of their matches against the Koreans was 1 hour and 26 minutes. In fact, they haven't had a match that's under an hour yet. So you can see this is the 9th meeting between the 2 pairs. And the last time they met, it was won by the Japanese pair. That was in the quarter-final of that Malaysian Open earlier this year.
Players ready, please.
So I suppose when you compare the time on court, 3 hours 42 minutes for the Olympic champions as opposed to 2 hours 19 minutes for the Japanese pair. Well, we talked a little yesterday as we look at our court officials, Richard Bramley and Susan Taylor. Richard Bramley from New Zealand, Susan Taylor from Australia. I suppose when you look at the time on courts, it should have an influence, but quite frankly, I think that the 2 pairs are so physically fit in their stamina, I don't think that it will make any difference for today's final.
Well, someone who's very interested in the final and joins us in commentary again is Mark Nichols.
Yeah, I love the ladies' doubles. It's always such a strategic game. You know, it doesn't quite have the same level of power as the men's game, so they'll have to be much more
On my left. Saki Mattsutomo, Makaya Takahashi, Japan. Zhao Yunlei to serve to Akaya Takahashi. Level. Play. It's over. 1 love.
Yeah, nice idea from Mattsutomo.
It's over. 1.
And I've been talking in recent times about her influence on the women's doubles game. Now Mattsutomo to hunt the shuttle at the net. I thought a year or so ago that this Japanese combination were too negative, too defensive.
Yeah, and obviously for all doubles events, it's absolutely critical for the front player to take control of the rally and really try and influence the play. You can't afford to stand back and watch. You have to be injecting yourself into the rally.
Yeah, good smash from Zhao Yunlei.
3, 2.
That's wild.
You can see where in ladies doubles you really have to be patient in your attack and solid in defence, and often it's that counter attack that tends to give you an opportunity.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday, didn't we, Mark, with the Olympic champions playing against the European champions, because the Danish combination were blocking a lot to the net and one of them following that forward. Smash across the body.
4, 3.
She's not very tall. She has a big wind up on that smash and is able to generate some serious racket head speed.
Yeah, Sayaka Takahashi, older sister of Japanese women's singles player, the left-hander Sayaka Takahashi.
Play.
I think in Grand Prix tournaments or above, they became the first siblings to win titles at the same tournament in different disciplines when they both won titles at German Grand Prix Gold earlier this year.
4, all.
Oh, late decision. Yeah. Well, Mark, we were discussing yesterday about the prospects of a long-term future as far as the Olympic champions are concerned within their partnership. And well worked by the Japanese pair. And it's the more aggressive style in recent months that's taken them to success. And that was so typical of their play. Very, very well worked.
It's really exciting to see them so positive and up and about early in this match.
It's gone long.
7-4.
Just lost their way a little bit in that rally.
Sets over.
Japanese pair,
5.
the Olympic champions, are ready to move onto any loose shuttle.
It's just clever play. In my opinion, that was definitely Zaki Matsutomo's shot to play. Just seemed to take a racket away from that defensive shot. Oh, the opportunity was there. Just snatched at that a little. Yeah, good rally. I think we can expect to see more and more rallies like that. So on a run of 4 straight points,
Play.
former world #1s and reigning Olympic champions. go into the lead.
It's dropped in.
Six over. 8 all.
Oh. Well, I'm surprised about the smash from Zhao Yunlei in hitting out wide. Really opened up the possibilities and the angles and played her partner into trouble from a double Olympic champion, because she's also mixed doubles gold medalist from London 2012. That's a little bit of a surprise. Oh, it's gone long. Well, I think she could have played the winner from that one, but it bothers me there's such big swing of the racket, because, of course, the more you're swinging the racket, the better your timing of the shot has got to be. If you just have a short, sharp movement of the racket head.
It was slightly mishit there, and I think that's what made the difference. That big swing of the racket.
Nice idea on the return of serve. Going
10,
just wide.
9.
That's very, very well taken from Tian Qing. And it is the Olympic champions who have the advantage at the mid-game interval. Just 2 points. Well, 12 minutes to the mid-game interval. We've seen whole games go quicker than that earlier in the week. Well, we were certainly expecting some long, hard rallies, and we're getting them.
Certainly no easy points to be won out there. Both teams have fantastic defences. It's just how they construct their rally and how patient they are that makes all the difference.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Japanese coaches.
Thank you.
Kai Nakajima.
Coach. Eleven.
In women's doubles, and there's no doubt about that whatsoever. But I watched this, and in comparison to the semi-final that we watched yesterday with this Chinese pair playing against the European champions from Denmark, I don't think there's enough real precision on their attacking play from the back of the court. I think they're hitting down and expecting speed of shot almost to be the winner and force the weak reply. I would like to see more thought process. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be patient, but, you know, whether it's specific for the inside hip or whether you're going to go a little bit flatter or something. To me, it's just too much hitting. Am I being hypercritical?
No, I think you're right. I think there's a difference between being patient and being defensive.
Yeah.
You know, they need to remain positive. They need to force errors. The Chinese pair are not going to make errors, and the Japanese pair aren't going to make errors there. if you allow your opposition to just dictate the rally, you know, you're really not a master of your own destiny.
Smash from Takahashi was aimed towards just on the forehand side of Zhao Yunlei. And that's what I want to see more of, those slightly across the body, be more precise rather than just hitting downward. Because then it does involve the net player.
Absolutely. It's those subtle differences that often are not that obvious that make all the difference.
Long. And we're not seeing in this match, in contrast to what we watched in the semi-final, we're not seeing that either pair or any of the four players taking the half chances that we saw the Danes taking yesterday. Is that just a complete contrast in a philosophy and tactics between the Asian way of playing and the European way?
I think so. I think, you know, you see that variation. You know that the Danes prefer to play an attacking style of game. They're not as comfortable with playing long defensive style rallies. So, you know, that it's so important for them to mix it up. But, you know, I find in these games as well, when you see the pairs, when they do it, they're much more successful.
And that's why I think the Japanese pair have improved so much, because Mattsutomo now does take some half chances going forward to the net. That's going wide.
It's over. 14-12.
I think at the moment, the more that the Japanese pair stand and drive and smash.
Oh, what a delightful drop shot from Tian Qing.
15-12.
Yeah, that's the good smash. That's where you set it up. They're going towards the right hip. And immediately, it's very, very difficult for Tian Qing to play the defensive shot. It's a weak reply, and therefore the net player can play the winner.
As you said before, it has to be precise. You have to be able to pick that position exactly right onto the hip of the opposition.
Well, confusion between the two Chinese players, both leaving it for the other. And that perhaps because they haven't been playing so regularly together. So now just 1 point in it. Going wide.
It's over. 16-14.
that's a good smash. Not sure we're seeing enough of the mid-court area either. It's either a smash or it's a lift or clear right to the back. There we go, that's mid-court. The error from Zhao Yunlei.
So it's over. 15-17.
Oh, it's called long. They're having a little think about it. They're going to challenge.
It's over.
Well, it's a critical
18,
stage of this opening game.
15.
Japanese coaches, Hamanaki and Kojima. Something about the defensive play there. Always amazes me when the pair has two coaches coming on and the two coaches speak to the players independently.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining the Star Australian Badminton Open Sydney 2014, part of the MetLife BWF World Super Series final day. With thanks to
This is the Star Australian Open Badminton Championships for 2014. Some of the stars came out for a media call and there was lots of interest on the players that have come down under to take part in this, the 8th stop on the
So the number 5 seeds from China, Tian Qing and Zhao Yunlei, Olympic champions, of course, having secured that opening game, and I wonder if that will just give them the confidence. I thought when they were playing their semi-final that, to me, they just didn't seem to have the sort of aura that they've had about them in the past. They now do look a little bit vulnerable. And I don't know whether it's because they've tried different partnerships or whether they're just not happy playing together or quite what it is.
It definitely seemed to drift in and out, didn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't a consistent approach throughout the whole match.
That's right. That was put away as if she meant it. And why not? Well, here we go. I thought the line judge got it right. Yep, certainly did.
Right, please. Challenge unsuccessful. Tian.
That's more thought about the downward shot. It's interesting though, Mark, I don't think there's anybody in the sport of badminton who is against this challenge system. Everybody loves it. They love the involvement of Hawkeye and the technology that's now involved. But I think the players, dare I say it, are a little naive about it at the moment. I mean, quite frankly, at 2-1 in a second game, why do you risk one of your challenges? Because at the moment, the pairs or a player in singles is only allowed 2 unsuccessful challenges per match. So now they've only got 1 challenge left, and they'll be really nervous about making the challenge. I think back to the latter stages of the opening game, and I'm convinced my goodness, I would have challenged that. I think that was in.
Well, and particularly when you get towards the end of the game, it doesn't make any sense to keep them in your pocket.
No, exactly.
If it's a critical point at around 15, 16 in the match,
yeah,
it just seems like a waste to walk away with 2 challenges at the end of the match. You know, it's too late to use them once the game's over.
Exactly. And if it's at a critical stage, and I can't remember exactly what it was, I think it was 17-15.
Yep.
You know, if you've challenged then, it's only 1 point deficit. And there's a huge psychological difference between 18-15 and 17-16.
Absolutely. And it did seem to change. The momentum changed at that point.
Yeah. So the players have got to learn tactically when to use these challenges. I think we ought to start a campaign as well, though, about more challenges. Because it's so wonderful. It involves the crowd. We get the right decision, the correct decision.
They seem to have increased their intensity a little bit in the first part of this second game. They've been caught out of position a couple of times using the big smash and the full cross-court drop shot, the Chinese pair. Now focusing a lot more through the centre of the court.
think she was in half mind as to whether to leave that lift. Unsure whether it would have landed in or not. Seemed to be hesitation with the overhead shot there from Mattsutomo. Yeah, definite hesitation.
She has quite an unusual technique for her overhead shot as well. Her elbow stays quite low. So I haven't seen too many players using that technique.
So presumably you're not necessarily in favour of the technique. You think it's restricting her?
I think these things evolve over time, probably from when you're a junior player, your own individual style, but you know, it does potentially limit your options. You've got to bring your arm up to the shuttle.
Yeah, I can see your point.
4.
Also, technically, I don't think she turns her shoulders enough, but that's a different issue. Oh, hang on here. What's the umpire going to say? We're looking at that again. And the umpire having a quiet word with Zhao Yunlei. I think that's about her celebrations after the rally. So it's a run of 6 straight points coming from behind. I think that's 7 straight points. Well, I think that was absolutely vital as far as the Japanese pair were concerned. Stop that run. 7 straight points when you're already in a dire situation. As the Japanese have lost the opening game, you really can't afford to allow your opponents to get that sort of run. Oh, that's a loose serve. Yeah, they were under pressure from the onset of the rally. And we go to the mid-game interval and a 6-point advantage for the Olympic champions. Well, I suppose that run, Mark, I mean, it's so typical of this Chinese pair, isn't it? I've just got a question mark going through my own mind as to whether the Japanese pair are really, whether they should change up their tactics and try and do something a bit different, because playing like this, they're not going to win this.
No, that's right. You know, they really have to refocus on how they are going to find a way through this unbelievable defence that the Chinese have. You know, controlled aggression in ladies doubles is so important. You can't afford to stand back and watch.
Okay, so we're talking about the fact that they've got to be more focused, the Japanese pair, if they want to win this final. But tactically, I return and third shot.
Well, I do. I think you know, obviously every rally starts with the first 3 shots, and they're so important. So important to give you that momentum into the rally. What I find that the Japanese are doing at the moment is they tend to be hitting it back to the Chinese. They're hitting straight down the line, or they're hitting directly across to the opposition. They're not using that variation through the centre of the court, which I think creates that uncertainty.
Nothing you can do about that. Shuttle hit the top of the tape, fell over.
12-6.
for the Japanese pair. I think when they're in the attacking formation, and most of the time they like to have Takahashi at the back with Mattsutomo going forward. But I think she's a little bit static at the front of the court. I would like to see more movement where she's really hunting the shuttle, because a number of times I think that her partner has hit a smash where if she had been on the move and trying to anticipate more, she could have anticipated.
Instead, she's let the shuttle fly back past her.
Exactly, exactly.
It doesn't improve their position in the court at all.
Shots over. 13-7.
We saw the opposition, we saw the Chinese doing the opposite thing there. They were using a lot of half smashes through the centre of the court, drop shots, really mixing it up. And I think that's where they've got the better of the Japanese today.
That's a clever smash.
Bringing it back across the player into the centre of the court. Haven't seen enough of that when the Japanese have been attacking.
Qing. Little step back from the net area, and as her partner is hitting, she's moving forward again, so that she's already on the move towards the net before her chance to intercept. Very, very different. Margin, and Tian Qing. That's great interception. Good work at the front from Zhao Yunlei.
98.
Racket work is remarkable.
Match point, 8.
12 match points, to be precise.
Over. 9-20.
Well, Chinese want the shuttle changed. Japanese pair don't.
Game.
Second time of asking. And a second title in consecutive tournaments. Winners in Indonesia and winners here at the Australian Open. Tian Qing and Zhao Yunlei. Confirmation of the score, 21-15, 21-9 in 43 minutes.